There are some names, some stories, that become more than just a headline. They become legends, synonymous with the city's darkest secrets. And for Hollywood, that name is the Black Dahlia. We're going to dive into one of America's most chilling and infamous unsolved murders.
So, picture this. It's 1947. The war is over, and Los Angeles is the city of dreams, buzzing with this incredible energy. But on this one particular Wednesday morning, that dream is about to curdle into an absolute nightmare. Out in the Leimert Park neighborhood, a mom is just taking a walk with her kid. She spots something pale lying in the grass. From far away, it just looks like a department store mannequin, maybe broken in two and tossed aside. But as she gets a little closer, the awful, awful truth starts to sink in. What she found wasn't a mannequin. It was the body of a young woman, posed with this bizarre, deliberate precision. Her body had been severed cleanly in half at the waist. She had been drained of every last drop of blood. And her face had been carved from the corners of her mouth all the way to her ears, creating this grotesque grin. It was an absolutely horrific scene, but there was a key detail. There was no blood on the ground, which meant one thing: she was killed somewhere else.
The press, of course, went into a frenzy. But behind all those shocking headlines, there was a real person. So who was the woman at the center of this brutal, unbelievable crime?
Her name was Elizabeth Short. She was only 22, originally from Massachusetts. And like so many people then and now, she came out to California dreaming of stardom. Now, she was often called an aspiring actress, but really, she had no acting credits to her name. She was working as a waitress, just trying to make it, trying to find her way in a city that could be just as cruel as it was glamorous. You know, the name, the Black Dahlia, wasn't something she ever called herself. It was a complete creation of the media circus that just exploded around her death. It was a play on a popular movie at the time, The Blue Dahlia, and a nod to her dark hair and the black clothes she liked to wear. The name was mysterious, it was catchy, and it stuck. It basically cemented her identity in pop culture forever.
So the LAPD launched this massive investigation. At one point, they had over 750 investigators on this single case. But honestly, from the very beginning, they were fighting an uphill battle.
The crime scene was pure chaos. Almost right away, the whole area was just swarmed with reporters and gawkers, trampling all over potential evidence before the police could even secure it. This was a huge mistake, especially since the lack of blood and the clean cuts on the body already told them they were looking for a killer who was meticulous, maybe someone with medical knowledge who had killed her somewhere else and brought the body there.
So at first there's this flurry of activity. Just a few days after the body is found, a guy claiming to be the killer starts taunting the press. He calls up the editor of the LA Examiner. Then he actually mails them a package with Elizabeth's birth certificate, her social security card, an address book. But then, nothing. Just as fast as the leads came in, they dried up. By that spring, the case was completely cold.
This note was sent along with her belongings, and it was made from letters cut and pasted out of newspapers. And here's the really chilling part. Every single item in that package had been wiped clean with gasoline. Any hope of finding fingerprints was gone. See, this wasn't just a murder, it was a taunt. The killer was putting on a show for the whole city to see.
For decades, the case was just frozen in time. It was the subject of books, movies, endless speculation, but no real answers. And then, years and years later, the single most compelling theory came from a source that, well, you just couldn't make it up.
Meet Steve Hodel. He was a respected, veteran LAPD homicide detective. After he retired, he started going through some of his late father's things, and he found something that would kick off this personal obsession to finally solve Hollywood's biggest mystery.
The suspect Steve Hodel zeroed in on wasn't some long-forgotten name from an old case file, no. He came to a truly shocking conclusion. The killer was his own father, Dr. George Hodel, a brilliant, famous LA surgeon who, it turns out, had a very, very dark side. And the evidence his son, Steve, put together, it was just startling. First, his dad had the exact surgical skills you'd need to cut a body in half so cleanly. Second, his handwriting looked a lot like the taunting notes from the killer. And maybe most damning of all, secret police files revealed that Dr. Hodel was actually a prime suspect way back in 1949. While the police had him under surveillance, they bugged his house. And on that wiretap, they recorded him saying this absolutely bone-chilling line. And yet, despite this and all the other evidence, Dr. George Hodel was never charged with the murder of Elizabeth Short.
So even with this incredibly compelling case against Hodel, the murder of Elizabeth Short is still officially unsolved. So why? Why, after all this time, are we still so completely captivated by this story?
Well, for one thing, the sheer fame or infamy of the case is just staggering. Get this, over the years, more than 500 people have falsely confessed to being the killer. It just shows you what a grip this murder has on the public's imagination. It became a full-blown cultural obsession. I mean, the story of the Black Dahlia has become a pillar of the entire true crime genre. It's inspired huge best-selling novels, major movies, TV shows. It's a modern myth about the dark side of fame and what can happen when dreams go wrong in Hollywood.
At the end of the day, this case is the ultimate cold case. It's just this perfect storm of a brutal, unforgettable crime, a total media circus, a botched investigation, and this long list of fascinating suspects. And it leaves us with a question that still haunts us, a question that might never get an answer, cementing the Black Dahlia as Hollywood's most tragic and most enduring mystery.